Ringside crew. Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther the Third.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe the Panther the Third. And man, today, don't boo me. Whoa. I got to introduce my guest. This gentleman is a stand-up comedian, and he also is an impressionist. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Jason Schuster. Welcome, Jason.
What's up, Joe?
Happy
to be here, brother.
Dance. What's his name from AEW? What's his name?
Is that the Prince?
Nana.
Yeah, looking like that. Yeah.
I met Nana. Nana's a pretty funny guy. He's really nice in person.
Yeah, he seems like an awesome dude.
He can dance pretty good.
Yeah, he's a good dancer, man.
Were you being like, when did you get this love of being like a stand-up comedian, and also like you love wrestling? So like, let's start out with your beginnings with your stand-up comedian stuff. Like, when did you get this like love of stand-up comedian, being a stand-up?
I was in love with comedy ever since I was a kid. My family is like big energy, big personalities, and I'd always be watching at Saturday Night Live with my family, and I started to pick up impressions when I was a little kid. And it was funny because from doing those impressions, I started to imitate actually people in my family, and then I would impersonate people like even the rabbi and cantor at our synagogue. So it's when I was a kid, my aunt would tell the cantor that I would actually impersonate him, and then he would constantly come up to me and ask me to do an impression of him. And I was at a gas station one time, and he even said, he pulled up, and I said, "Oh, hey," to the rabbi. I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Oh, he's this Israeli guy." He's like, "Do me, right now." I was like, "Do you right now here at the gas station?" He's like, "Yeah." So, then that just kind of progressed, and I would always do characters as a kid, but it wasn't until I would say in my 30s, early 30s, where I started to get into improv. I was in the Groundlings, and it kind of progressed from there, and then transitioned from the improv into stand-up, and things have really started to really take off in the last couple of years for me doing it.
Awesome. So, like, which is like the biggest like stand-up comedians that like you really gravitated to as like a teen or like a young adult?
Jim Carrey is one of my idols. I mean, people don't realize how amazing his stand-up was, and his characters that he would do, and his impressions were something that I was always looking up to as a kid. I loved Rodney Dangerfield growing up. Also, I would say Chris Rock was, just because he was so big. But yeah, those are some of my inspirations growing up. But I specifically love people on Saturday Night Live and learning the characters and watching different impressionists.
Awesome. So now let's get into it with like your love for professional wrestling. Like who are some of your favorite guys that when you get a chance to do their voices, it really pops and the crowd goes like that?
I don't do a lot of wrestling impressions, but I've been asked to start doing more. Like Vince McMahon is one of my big wrestling impressions. Bret Hart, I can do. Macho Man Randy Savage, all those guys. And, really that's just from watching so much wrestling growing up as a kid. And I'm an old school wrestling fan. Sorry, my dog's here.
Yeah, we love flutes here.
Come here, Cody. And then, and so, I love the 80s, early 90s era of WWE, watching the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. And even though those were such ridiculous promos that they were cutting backstage, looking back on it now, as a kid to watch that, It was like they were like superheroes. They were, to me, it was amazing. And then I just never grew out of it. And then here I am at 40. I love it just as much.
Yeah. So like, is there any like voices that you do other than wrestlers? You don't really do many wrestlers. Like, what impressions do you do that you want to do for tonight during the podcast?
I can do. I mean, I can do everybody from Donald Trump to Adam Sandler, Al Pacino.
Let's hear some Adam Sandler.
Okay. Oh, yes, very good. It's so good to be on the we told the Panther Oh, yeah.
Love Adam. Out of all the Adam Sandler's movies that he's done, which one would you say like would be like your favorite of all time?
Billy Madison. That was a classic. Happy Gilmore. I don't think there's. I mean, although he's had some great ones over the years, and some of them that weren't so great, but some of that were just killers. But those two were just the ultimate classic Adam Sandler movies. I mean, I used to listen to his albums on the CDs as a kid growing up too, and yeah. And I used to do the Goat, remember?
Goat Boy, yeah. Oh, I loved Goat Boy.
Not Goat Boy, but the hey, fuck me in the goat ass. Hey, you really whiz that one, huh?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was the talking goat character from Adam Sandler he used to do, and those albums were amazing.
There's so many comics out there that do impressions, but like you do your impressions, but like. Is there is there a certain group that you would say that you'd be connected to more when you do your gigs? Is it like the younger crowd? Is it the older crowd? Like the mixed crowd is your favorite crowd to work with?
I'm kind of mixed because I can do a lot of old school impressions, but I'm I'm always trying to look for who is current that I can do impressions of. So I'm constantly listening. And trying to pick up voices and a lot of it's by ear and just and trying to copy the voice and just practicing those voices. Like when for people like Donald Trump, he's in our face every day, so I'm watching that all the time, obviously. So for me, it's just I'm hearing him all the time, so I'm learning him all the time, and so it's.
I know he's behind you going. He don't do my voice. I swear to God. You can do the voice right now if you want to do the voice. I know you said the name twice, like Beetlejuice. Say it one more time. He's gonna pop up. Like so. There you go. I said his name one more time.
Well, I have to tell you, frankly, Joe, you asked for Donald Trump. Frankly, he's here right now. And if you don't say Beetlejuice anymore, maybe I'll disappear, or else maybe, frankly, I'll go to China.
That was good.
Big deal, frankly, a big deal, and we're gonna have a great election. And you're a great guy, but a big wrestling fan. Now vote for me, come 2024, China.
Oh jeez, yeah, that's crazy. Like the impressions you get. It's like when people see me do my faces, my voices. It's all about the facial expressions and the hands. It's like
like people just comes all in those hands.
The hands. Like when I would do my impressions of like Howard Finkel, and I got teary-eyed one time. I was at something, and I had no hat on. I was wearing my suit jacket. I think I took off my glasses for a second. I was standing there like this. And the person said, "Has anybody ever told you look like Howard Finkel?" And
I see that now. Wow, that's funny.
And I did this. I got teary-eyed because Howard Finkel is the reason why when I'm at a show, I'm listening to his voice. And as a child, I heard, ladies, I can't do the voice. I just I'm getting over a cold, but
Howard Finkel.
Howard Finkel. I can't do it. Dang it.
The WWF World Wrestling Federation presents WrestleMania.
Like that voice. I heard the voice and I was like, it put me into like a shock. I was like, my uncle's like, what's wrong? I said, wrestling. That's all my uncle said. I heard you say wrestling, and you were just like entranced on the light over Howard in the ring. And then I saw you just fall in love with this stuff. So like with the independent scene that I love, and I go to a lot of the shows, like you said before you don't really get a chance to go to the shows, but like it's a scene that everybody really needs to get into because independent wrestling is a dying breed and like people don't really go. Would you ever think about going into like WWE or like AEW or Impact that like possibly would be like a backstage interview or anything, but like within wrestling?
You know, I was something I was thinking about doing like years ago. I've interviewed Bret Hart before, and I do know a few wrestlers. And just funny enough, you know, some of the comedians out, you know, that I'm friendly with are really big wrestling fans, and some actually have wrestled themselves. So it kind of crosses over a little bit. So yeah, that's something I might get more into. You never know. It's 2024, man. There's a full of surprises.
Yeah, like you also you could change your voice when you interview someone. You could be like, you know, sir, like I think that maybe you should not be so mean to the people. Like Rick
Yeah.
Moranis, go like all like Louis Tully when you're interviewing somebody. Be like, I think it's not nice that you were mean to him, Ric Flair. Why would you do that? Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I could just bust out Vince McMahon and start interviewing as Vince McMahon, you know? So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's your Vince, because you know Vince is on everybody. So
Vince would have to tell you right now, he'd say, "We're going to do this right now with Joe Panther the Third, with ruthless aggression and," what's the word he said? Abandonment? "And reckless abandonment. And if you don't tell me anything else, I'll tell you right now, you're fired."
I heard some like funny stuff about Vince. Like if you're talking to him and he's bored, he'll be like, "What was that? Oh, I gotta go eat my food." Like that's what someone said about Vince. Like if you're talking to Vince and you don't get him in,
What's
if
that?
you don't get him in that bubble,
You gotta
he's
get
like, what was that?
Yeah, well, what'd you say? Well, we're going to have a great pay-per-view tonight, and we'll see what happens. But make sure that Brett doesn't screw Brett over, and AEW doesn't fall apart because of TonyCon.
You know what's funny? Like I'm afraid. Like what if we're watching Raw one night and then Tony Khan pops on like, oh hey guys, I want to let you know I just bought WWE. I don't think that like, we're like what? Like
No, there was a period of time where I thought that they might be in cahoots, but now that I realize that was just ridiculous thinking. And they are true competitors. The WWE doesn't look at them as a competitor anymore at this point. I think that there was a time where they were like, "Oh, holy crap, this is real." But I think the lack of booking, the lack of booking creative backstage with AEW has really hurt them. And I was really excited about AEW in the beginning. I think a lot of fans really were, but it's still an alternative. And just as wrestling fans, I would say, even though the product may not be what you want, at least we have a lot of options now instead of just WWE all the time.
so what do you like with the Royal Rumble being tonight? Who are some of your biggest people you think are gonna return at the Royal Rumble?
Sasha Banks is going to show up, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't think she's going to AEW, and I think that would probably be the big one. You might have some old school surprises, like it's been a while since they really dropped in some like old school guys to come show up.
Some legends,
yeah, some legends. I would have said CM Punk could have been like that, but that already happened.
That was him. I think that was him, Jason. I think he wanted to make a big like surprise, and I think it was supposed to be like at the Rumble, but then CM Punk was like he didn't like how the crowd was booing at the end of Survivor Series, and he was like told Triple H, "Cue my music," and Triple H was like, "eh," and then he was like, oh, "Damn it," and then he hit the music, and the crowd went absolutely. Because did you notice what's his name? The Scottish wrestler, what's his name? One that does. Was that
Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, did you notice Drew McIntyre didn't stay in the ring? He wasn't hurt. He just did that fake WWE hobble backstage.
Right.
He didn't want to be in the ring.
No. I mean, who knows what's kayfabe and what's not? But look, that return to me was special because with the way the internet is these days and technology, like it's nearly impossible to hide big returns like that. And they did it, and nobody had a clue. And it kind of brought me back to the old school days, when the WCW versus the WWE days, when, back in the mid 90s, when there would be huge returns and stuff like that. And you didn't know, you were just like in awe, you know what I mean? That left me shocked because I never thought that would happen in a million years that he'd come back.
Like I was watching something on Instagram, like one of the classic wrestling pages they have on Instagram. They'll show like an old video clip. Did you ever watch the old WWF Rumbles when they would do like din din din, din and this guy is gonna be in the Rumble, like the superstars?
Yeah.
And they were showing this guy from Japan. Now, back in the day, I was like, who? And then it was like Takamika. It was like some Japanese wrestler that was big name.
Taki Michinoku? Was that?
No, some guy from Japan that nobody knew. Like us would be like, who? But now you're going, oh my God, that was a big name for like, he came to WWE just to go to one Rumble. And that's it. He gets thrown out in 10 minutes, but he was a big name. And some guy in Mexico with a luchador. And it's like, once again, nobody knew who you were. And now it's like, oh crap, he was in the Rumble.
Right.
Like, I think for me as a kid watching the Rumble and going, oh my God, this is so cool. They're like people coming in every 15 minutes. So like as a kid for you, which Rumble do you think would be like your favorite one of all time?
I would say, the Rumble with when it came down to Hogan and the Warrior in the ring.
Yeah.
And Hogan won that Rumble. That was probably my favorite of all time growing up. To me, that Warrior Hogan match that led up to WrestleMania 6 was just, from a nostalgia point, probably my favorite match of all time too. So going back, that Rumble, and then was that whole time period, the whole thing.
Awesome. So who do you think is going to win this year's Rumble?
I'd probably say Cody. Yeah.
I think, here we go. Oh my gosh, if this happens, you got to screenshot it and send it to me, and then I'll post it on the Dudes at Ringside page. Cody Rhodes. Here we go. My last two guys, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Cody Rhodes throws, because Punk's trying to be slick and do something, and Cody just goes whoop, throws him out. But it's like a Shawn Michaels. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Here's the stipulation. They're both doing the struggle to throw each other out, and they both fall out. So they're both like the Bulldog and Bret Hart's ending with the wiggling feet, and one's feet hits the ground, and it looks like they both touch the ground, and they have to like wait till Monday night to announce the winner. That's what's gonna happen right there. A replay of the Bulldog and Bret Hart Royal Rumble. Replay. That's how I think the Royal Rumble's gonna end. Like that. Just like that. See, even your dog agrees.
Even my dog agrees. Oh yeah, the cream always rises to the top. Dig it.
Right. Did you know there's a cosplayer that does the Macho Man in New York City?
Is that right?
Yes, you got to look him up. I'll just send you his interview. He did a promo for me and my sister's podcast, Twins at Ringside.
That's awesome.
He's hilarious. That guy goes to like cosplaying events. He dresses like Macho. He does like every Macho Man's outfit he has.
That's incredible. I usually dress up as Hulk Hogan for Halloween, but I'll have to do the Macho Man sometimes. That'd be fun.
You got to do Macho. Be like, what about it, Hogan? You like to start rapping like that rap CD he had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What about Hogan? Yeah, coming back for you. It's going to be another match.
I can take you now. Your hips are bad. Like
50,000 leg drops. Yeah, but the Macho Man's got the big elbow from the top. Yeah.
You know he broke DDP's sternum?
With the elbow drop?
Yes. He did it in WCW.
Oh, yeah. I think, because DDP was always taped up, man.
Yeah, that guy always looked like a walking injury. I was like, he come out on a Nitro after a show, and he looked like looked like a bandit, like when the Joker at the end of Batman, the first Batman, when he was like changing his face and make it look like all the white, and he's like he had all you can see is his eyeballs. That's what he looked like sometimes. Like, what's wrong with this dude? Why does he look like a Band-Aid?
You want to hear a funny DDP story as a kid?
Yeah,
I was a obviously a huge wrestling fan, still am, but as a kid, I had a school friend that knew Diamond Dallas Page, and he was in town, and so I wasn't feeling well, and I was invited to come to my friend's house to meet Diamond Dallas Page, and I couldn't get there. So I was all sad and disappointed because my mom wouldn't let me go. I'm sick, obviously. But so the next day, I was obviously still sick, but he did a signing, and my brother and my mother went down to get me an autograph from Diamond Dallas Page. And I got a call from my brother. He said, "Hey, we're downtown, but sorry, I couldn't get a hold of Diamond Dallas Page." And so I started getting real bummed out on the phone. And next thing I know, I said hello. I said hello, and it's Diamond Dallas Page on the phone talking to me. He's like, "Hey, Jason, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, how you doing, man?"
So, it's like DDP. Hey man, what's up? It's DDP.
It's DDP. Bang!
I used to love doing that. I was like, bang!
Bang!
I would go full on, like I'd nearly knock myself over when I did the DDP diamond. I'd go like this, and then I'd go forward and be like, bang! And I'd fall I'd bounce like 50 feet back, and I just shook my background like.
Oh man, those are the days. I mean, my brother and I, we would wrestle in the basement. We used to set up like fake rings, and me and my friends, we'd all beat the shit out of each other, man.
Yeah.
But I was even so obsessed. I went to Home Depot with my mom one year to try to build a wrestling ring in our backyard.
Oh God, that's hard. I know wrestlers that say they have their own. They said it cost me so much to freaking make.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
and it's like, and if you don't make it the right way, you're gonna die. Like the plywood and the mat. Yeah, I know wrestlers. I could see on their Instagram. They help fix the ring, and the girls are sitting there like old school, like 1930s sewing the freaking mat. Like, think about it. If you sew it wrong and the stitching is too thick, and your ass falls and hits your head on the mat, you're gonna look like freaking XPW, and you're gonna look like bloody mess. You're gonna be like, what? That spot wasn't supposed to be open.
You're gonna look like you had a tube shattered all over your forehead. So
yeah, the stitching's gonna be in your head. You're gonna be like, who left the stitch? Who left the pin in the mat? Like me.
Right.
Yeah. So Jason, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Before we go, if you have any gigs, let's go. Let's talk. Like promote.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can catch me at J Shu Comedy on Instagram, JSCHU Comedy. That's across for all social media. I'll be at the Cosmic Vinyl show coming up this Sunday, and you can catch all my tour dates coming up on my website at jshucomedy.com, and also go on my Instagram for all different sketches, bits, and all the good stuff. So,
thank you, Jason. I'm Joe Panther III. Your turn.
And I'm Jason Schuster.
And we will catch you in the next one. Have a good day or have a good night, everybody.